head coach of Georgia, makes his way over right now. He likes to make a dramatic entrance. Why not? When you won back-to-back national titles, you can do
He also
so.
has no people around him either.
No,
he did this
Kirby,
himself.
how you doing? Thanks for coming in.
We appreciate it.
Kirby
We're
Smart,
going to stay right here.
Yeah. We'll make ourselves comfortable. Kirby Smart, the head coach of Georgia, joining us. What do you think about us two?
Yeah.
You're actually
do you judge us when you walk in?
You're actually letting us in your facility.
You got the right attire on.
Yeah.
You got the colors down.
Yeah, thank you.
You look good.
Yeah.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were twins.
All right, do you judge us, generally speaking? When you sit down, like radio shows, do you sort of like think about, we had a nice time at the SEC. I thought you were very relaxed. People actually spoke about how relaxed you sound.
Yeah.
Is that part of like this whole give and take? Do you care who you sit down with, or is this just part of the job?
No, I don't care who I sit down with. I think it's more about what you guys want to get out of it and what our fans and listeners want to hear about. But I don't care who I sit down with.
So for those that don't know, you're the son of a coach. When does it start to cross your mind that this coaching thing might be for you?
I guess it's all I understood. It's what I knew. So I grew up around it every day, was at practice, sitting there, listening to coaches talk, go back and forth. And when I played, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I got told I couldn't play anymore because I wasn't good enough, then you're faced with the fact you got to do something else. And that something else led me to coach because I felt like I'd be good at it, and I had a passion for it, and I really didn't want a 9 to 5 or put a suit on.
Do you remember, did your dad have the projector at home? Back in the days when it was projector time, did he have a little space in the house that was his?
I don't remember him having it at the house. I do remember it at the field house, where that was basically like a house because that's where we lived. But I remember the sound of the projector with the two wheels turning, and they cut tape and they would post things, and it was very different. It was before the computer days. It was truly film.
And the worst thing a player could hear was run it back.
Oh, man, that run it back button, it has always amazed me. I was like, why are they looking at the same thing 10 times? And now I do the same thing. So it's like, why are they looking at that again? Why don't they just let it play?
Or as a player, that play's coming up. Oh, I'm going to get yelled at. Here it comes. Or they don't notice it at first, and they run it back about 3 or 4 times, and then that mistake gets noticed.
And by the way, what the hell were you doing?
Yeah, you thought you were off the hook.
It's a bad feeling.
It's not a good one. Kirby Smart, head coach of Georgia, is here with us. We talked earlier about Cedric VanPrimer, who was on with the morning show today, and how times have changed. I mean, you look at someone like that, impressive on and off the field, but we'll start with his physical presence and how much things have changed since you came to Georgia. I know you joked about it. Somebody thought you were a punter when you first came here. But things have just, the physicality, the appearance of these players, it's amazing now.
The size. Athletes in general. It doesn't matter what sport. You look at Koepka and Rahm. Those are two big men pounded on the golf ball, and they hit it further and further. Well, the same thing's true with ours. The guys are bigger and bigger. The Jordan Davises, the VanPrimer, just the average amount and weight of linemen across the board is huge, and it carries down to defensive backs. When I came, I was 175 and it was probably average weight. Now, if you're not 190, it's hard for you to survive back on the back end because you're tackling bigger people.
How hard is it for these kids? They're 12, 13, 14. They're a little bit bigger. Everybody has an expectation. Somebody's chasing them down the hall. Why don't you play football? The idea that you have to want to play this game. It doesn't matter what your size is. You have to want to get hit. Charles Barkley jokes. He said, I played football for one day, and then I realized they hit you, and they'll hit you again tomorrow. This mindset is you've got to be a different cat to play at any level, but to bring it up to this level and then the NFL is just really different.
Yeah, it's really different for college because I talked to some of the NFL guys here recently about our guys going in the draft, and they talk about how little they get to hit and how they don't get to practice, and they can't really develop a player. They get what they get, and they get the finished product, or they don't. They can't develop one because they don't get to hit, they don't get to practice due to the CBA. And in college, we get to practice. We get more practices. We get to have physical toughness. So if you're going to make it to the NFL, you have to pass through college in most circumstances, and you have to have some physical toughness to be able to get through college football because there is physicality there.
Kirby Smart is here with us, head football coach at Georgia. Obviously, the conversation has begun about possibly scrimmaging other teams. Hugh Freeze talked about it, Deion Sanders, among others. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm open to that idea. It's not something that I think about a lot and think about often. I think anything that benefits the greater good of your state or your community locally, and when I say locally, I mean the state of Georgia, then we should be for that. If we have an opportunity to help organizations that need help funding, and we can do that through the sport of football, then I'm usually looking for a way to help out. I certainly don't think that it's a opportunity to just be a money maker. It's an opportunity to give back, and if our players can give back and have a game where or a scrimmage where you get to go against other people, and the enjoyment, the betterment of that goes to Children's Hospital or whatever it may be, that's usually a positive. So I'm okay with the way things are, and I'm okay if we move towards that and gives a chance to give back. I'm not one that kind of thinks it has to be one way or the other.
What's going to happen for you Saturday night? Whatever happens, good, bad, you're happy, you're a little bit unhappy. Saturday night when this game is done, what do you think your night looks like then? How much of it is I'm going to look at film, or is it I'm going to process in my mind what it is we have to do next week to make sure that what I saw that I didn't like doesn't happen again?
Yeah, we're going to be recruiting. I mean, this first thing we do is we have kids that come on campus, and we want to make sure they have a positive experience. We get to spend time with their families while they're here. We'll have a couple of official visitors, which ties into Sunday, meaning I get to spend time with them on Sunday and help welcome their families and embrace them into what I hope is tremendous weather and tremendous opportunity for some guys to grow up and play. I'll worry about the tape of the game probably on Sunday when the recruits are gone, and take my time and look at it and watch it and say, okay, look, this is how far we came from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 3, and where do we need to go to get where we need to be.
Is there a turnoff? I hate to say this because I know what it is now with NIL, but if somebody has their palm up the minute they meet, I'd like something here before I don't know how often that goes on with NIL, but I'm sure it still does. How big a turnoff is that for you and your staff to go, oh, no, that's not an area? If that's on their mind right now, before we've actually got past the dating stage, I don't think we need to go down that road. Is that something that you guys think about now?
Well, I think you think about it, but the biggest thing is education. I don't know that every kid that's getting recruited understands what the rules and regulations within NIL are. It's new. It's new to everybody. So it's in its really third year, which in a like 10,000 feet view, that's relatively new. And you're trying to make sure they understand that that's not the way this works, that we can't do this. Like, you need to understand what it is and then say, okay, so I'm not just completely turned off, oh, okay, they misunderstand. No, I'm going to educate, and if they continue to think that way, then we're not interested. We can't run around throwing money out to people before they get here. You can't do that. So the key is that they earn NIL the right way, and they do it the correct way, which is having a better understanding of it. And I don't know, when you start talking about high school prospects, the awareness that everybody has. There's no textbook handbook on it that they get to go by.
Kirby Smart, head coach, with us for a couple of more minutes here as we're at Butts-Mehre overlooking the House of Pain facility. I want to go back to VanPrimer for a second, a kid that does do things the right way. Obviously, you're in this business to win. But is it right up there with anything else, seeing somebody like this develop as a person and lead your program?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. First of all, he came in as a quality person, human being, football player. Education was important to him. I mean, I can remember since the first time I saw him in his high school, he talked about how important art was to him, and he wanted to be really good at it. He wanted to get in his major. So, like, he came in with a leadership mentality, and he's only grown in that. So I think we have made him a better person and a better man, and he's grown up a lot. But he came in with a lot of those qualities, and that's a credit to his family and his background and the people that helped raise him in New Orleans. But I've not been around someone that is so comfortable being uncomfortable, because he really is not afraid to demand excellence, to hold people accountable, to all the things that we want in our organization. He embodies that, and to have him come back is like a blessing in disguise in terms of leadership.
What's that conversation like? Because everybody knows he flirted with the NFL. How do you weigh the pros and the cons with somebody that talented?
Well, you just look at the facts. I mean, everybody's talented going to the draft, right? So he jumps into a pool of a lot of talented people. So as talented as he is, there's others talented. And if he was a first-round pick, we'd be telling him he needed to go. So there's things he can improve on, things he can work on. He knew that. He wanted to come back. He'd like to be the first center taken. He'd like to be the best center in the draft and have an opportunity to climb up the board, and he wasn't at that spot. Now, he still would have been drafted, but I think he saw us an opportunity to grow and come back, and we have not had one person in our organization that came back that didn't benefit by coming back. And that's the world we hope he falls into too, that he benefits by coming back because he improves.
I was going to ask you if your wife is the only one on the planet that doesn't ask you who the starting quarterback is going to be, but maybe she does. That might be an assumption on my part.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't care about it, I don't think. So, I mean, apparently you guys do because that's what you're aiming at.
Oh, we are aiming at it. If you had to pick a starter right now,
what's today?
Who would
Wednesday?
that starter be?
I don't have to pick one right now.
No, you don't actually.
We don't do hypotheticals, right? Y'all learned that a long time ago. We
Yeah.
don't have to pitch hypotheticals. We let you guys do the hypotheticals because probably both of you guys have an opinion who it would be. So I'd love to hear from you guys about who you think the starting quarterback is and why.
You want to start?
Yeah.
Considering all the practice y'all seen.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, that's the point. I don't know.
That's why we're asking you.
I'm willing to say it. I have no idea who the starter should be. I don't know what he's doing on a Tuesday morning. I don't know what he's doing on Thursday afternoon out there. I don't know if you're happy with his classroom stuff. I don't know if he's a pop-off. I don't know if he's a leader. I have no idea.
They all are the really good things. Like all three of them are really good leaders. All three of them are really good quarterbacks. And the beauty is, we get more time to process information. Do you make a decision on an investment when you're 25% done looking at it? No. I make a decision on an investment when I'm 100% through looking at it. And we're about 25% of the way of the practices we would get before we kick off next year.
Are there things I'm this part I'm being serious about. I don't know, not day to day, maybe every 3 days, every week. There has to be, and I'm not talking about lines and depth charts, but there has to be those things where you leave a practice going, he understood something maybe better than he ever has today, and that sticks with you, I'm assuming. Every time you see growth, it has to stick with you. Is that an accumulation of those things that help you make a decision who the starter should be?
Yeah, it's a accumulation of processing information and making decisions. Not necessarily just growth. It's decision making. Did you make the right decision on this play? Did you get us in the right protection? Did you put your eyes in the right place? Did you process the information you got, both what Coach Bobo gave you and then also what Coach Schumann gave you, because he's giving you a defense. So you've got to process a lot of information. You've got to make good decisions, use your rules, take your coaching, and then not make mistakes. And that's ultimately what a quarterback does. It's not just making plays. It's not making mistakes. And eliminating losing the game is the first objective.
All right, Kirby, we know you got to run. We appreciate you coming by, and we gave it a shot with the quarterback situation.
Anything else maybe that you don't want to tell us? What other than the quarterback stuff don't you feel comfortable telling us?
There's nothing to really say on the quarterbacks. Any question you want to ask on the quarterbacks, I think all three of those guys have done a tremendous job. There's nothing that's to be run from in terms of that.
Do they pull for each other?
Yeah, they work hard. They compete. I mean, they compete in everything they do, and they pull for, like, when the offense is out there trying to score in 2 minutes. They're like, regardless of who's in, they're trying to hope we score because they want the offense to do well. We have third down competition. They want to do well in the third down competition.
Is that a position, or the only position, or is it not a position? Do you sit down and talk to people when you name a starter, when that's all official? Do you talk to the other guys? Is that?
Oh, you talk to them before you name it.
Okay, but do you do that with other positions?
If there's a battle, yes.
Okay.
If there's a battle there, I don't go and say, look, Dumas Johnson, Pop's going to be our starting linebacker. I need to go tell the other guy. They know.
Okay.
I mean, he was actually there last year. So, but where there's a competition, yeah, we like to let them know. But that's when we know, and we don't usually know with 25% of the information, 25% of the practices. I'd like to get 95% of the practices done before you have to know the answer to that.
And I think I know the answer to this. History is back-to-back championships. That's really difficult. You can just look at the list and go, how often does it happen? Trying to do it one more time, running it back with new players, some of them still sticking around. Do you at least appreciate the history that you guys are going after? I know you don't talk about it. Those pages are turned. That's 2 years ago, last year, we did it. That's in the books. But do you yourself have an appreciation of the historical part of this before it really gets underway?
I appreciate what you're asking and what you're saying, but I'm really looking at this no different than I did the season 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, or 1 year ago. They're all a blank slate. and they're independent of each other. I learned a long time ago in statistics, when you flip that coin, just because you had 10 heads doesn't mean it's going to be heads again. It's going to be 50-50. So we're looking at it as this is a brand new slate, brand new opportunity, and we're going to have an opportunity to go and grow. And the wind blows higher at the top, but that's fine. Like we expect that. We expect that last year.
All right, looking forward to Saturday. Like we said, appreciate you coming by. Good to see you. Thanks for having us here.
Thank you, guys.
There's some Chick-fil-A over there if you're hungry. I think we have some snacks for Kirby Smart as well, the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs.